Bradford's new Victoria Cinema was constructed on the site that was previously occupied by the old brewery, seen here alongside the Alhambra in aerial photographs. Whittaker's ceased operating from there in June 1928 and demolition commenced that September. It took 2 months to flatten the brewery buildings. Meanwhile, the new Victoria's architect, William Illingworth, submitted the cinema's first set of blueprints that autumn. The auditorium's first design included one huge balcony. The ballroom and restaurant wing on Thornton Road was originally intended to house a lounge for cheap seats on its ground floor with a flat above. William Illingworth also negotiated a land swap between provincial cinematograph theatres and the local corporation. There was a piece of council-owned land on the site, seen here in blue, and this was traded for the 2 red sections of former brewery land to enable a widening of Thornton Road and Great Horton Road. These negotiations concluded in early 1929, just as the foundations for the new cinema had been prepared for the first steel girders. The steel in the new Victoria was provided by Henry Barrett and Sons. They would also have new premises constructed next door to the theatre's Thornton Road wing at the same time. When the building was subdivided into twin Odeon cinemas and bingo in 1969, projectionist Alan Noble, seen here with Norman Littlewood of the Bradford Odeon Rescue Group, discovered a box of glass slide negatives hidden beneath the Gaumont stage. It was a treasure trove of dated archive images showing the cinema being built. Local historian Andrew Bolt also came into the possession of additional photos of the construction. Drawing upon their individual archives, we are now able to offer a virtual month-by-month glimpse of the 1929 construction of the new Victoria Cinema. Our first glass slide, dated June the 1st, 1929, looks towards Brewery Street. You can see the extension to the Town Hall in the top right-hand corner. This photo of the tower steelwork frame at the Great Horton Road side was taken on the same day. The girders forming the frame of the foyers between the 2 towers were installed in early July 1929. In the top right-hand corner, you can see the Alexandra Hotel and the adjoining Empire Theatre. A few weeks later, and the curved shape of the Stalls Lounge has become evident. Note the Alhambra Theatre beyond its far end. Bradford Beck flows to the rear of the building, and this series of glass slides, dated July 1929, shows the construction of the steel cantilever above the Beck. This is positioned to the far left corner of the stage area. The sepia-tone photos in this gallery are from Andrew Bolt's archive. This one shows the steelwork for the cinema's 2 balconies taking shape. The next series of glass slides are dated August 1929. This one shows the girders of the upper balcony at the top of the picture and the rake of the rear stalls beyond the lower foyer. Although constructed in brick, the lower elevations of the cinema's main body were obscured by terracotta faience. This view shows the raked floor to the rear of the stalls. Note the old brewery building still standing along Thornton Road and the arched gate entrance to the former brewery yard. This aerial photo shows how the older structures had provided a barrier and a site entrance during the construction. This image was taken within the stage area and is looking towards the left-hand side. The cluster of buildings beyond were known as the Quebec Works, and these stood behind the cinema until the 1980s and 1990s. It is now September 1929, and beyond the steel frame you can see the lower elevation wall of the Great Horton Road and Quebec Street side progressing in height. This view shows the dressing rooms at the Thornton Road side of the cinema under construction. These were positioned at the side of the stage fly tower with a direct window view of the Quebec Works buildings. This glass slide view looks towards stage right. Andrew Bolt's sepia-tone photo provides more clarity, and his archive also includes this additional photo. Here is a near-perfect composite of both, offering a wider perspective. Looking towards the Thornton Road Brewery Street junction, preparations to install the first of the roof girders were made in late October. The bells of the Town Hall clock chimed at 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday the 5th of November 1929, just as this girder was being raised into position. Even at its half-completed stage, the exterior of the new Victoria was starting to resemble the building as we know it today. On Wednesday, the 13th of November 1929, Edward VIII, the then Prince of Wales, laid a wreath at the cenotaph before visiting the Alhambra Theatre. A Telegraph and Argus photograph of the occasion captures workmen observing the proceedings from the half-completed cinema building. The upper sections of the exterior walls comprised of Flemish bond brickwork and elaborate faience features. The exterior walls continued to rise higher, and as November came to an end, they were almost at roof level, with its remaining girders fixed into position. A steel framework for an ornate plaster dome was also installed in the centre of the auditorium ceiling. It is worth noting here that the new Victoria was originally scheduled to open by autumn 1929. There is a well-known saying about the fate of best laid plans, something Bradford Live have similarly encountered with this same building nearly 100 years later. Only the main body of the cinema had been constructed as 1930 began, and so the intricate task of fitting out the interior with its dazzling plasterwork and sumptuous decoration commenced. Some materials were sourced locally, whilst other fittings came from further afield. The cinema was to have a Wurlitzer organ, and here is the wooden framework of its tone duct prior to a plaster coating. The curve transferred the sound of actual instruments housed in the roof chambers down into the auditorium. Steel frames form the inner shell of the domes above the two tower entrances. These were covered first with wood panels, then with copper sheeting. Note the outer walls of the old brewery are still standing on Thornton Road. This photograph, probably taken from the heights of the Alexandra Hotel, offers an excellent study of the cinema's fly tower flanked by dressing rooms and residential flats. The exterior is virtually complete in this last photograph, dated summer 1930. The scaffolding has almost gone, and did you notice the exterior hoarding panel advertising films at St George's Hall when that was a cinema? The new Victoria was finally ready to open its doors on Monday the 22nd of September 1930, and so we shall conclude our series of podcasts by referring you to our very first one, which tells the full story of what happened on that particular occasion.